I'm Mary, a 44-year-old part-time mom and working mother, living with my husband John, just the two of us. We have a son, but since he went to college in the city, it's been a while since it's just been the two of us. You'd think we'd want to relive our newlywed life, but at 44 and 50, that's an embarrassing thought we can't even entertain. After all, both my husband and I are busy with work and don't have time for that. My husband, in his prime at 50, is busy every day, and I'm busy supporting our employees from behind the scenes, cleaning cars, and making homemade lunches. I even get kind words from the young employees like, "Thanks always, you're a lifesaver," and "Mary's homemade food is the best." My son has left, but the young employees at work are now like my sons. I thought I'd keep working hard behind the scenes. I have a brother, Tom, who's a year older than me, but since he's not handsome, I had almost given up on him getting married. But then, he suddenly announced he was getting married to a woman 17 years younger, 28 years old, named Kate. She's a club hostess, and that's where they met. Seriously? When I went home, I heard from my brother that the marriage was apparently due to her strong push. They started dating after her confession, and she pushed him hard, and they decided to get married in just 3 months. Probably because she found out that my brother works for a well-reputed local company. But when I heard more, I was shocked. She's even pregnant with a child. Seriously? Marrying a club hostess 17 years younger in a shotgun marriage? This is truly a bolt from the blue. "Are you okay? You're not being deceived," I blurted out, and my brother got angry.
"How rude. Do you think she's that shady? You don't even know her. She's like a delicate wildflower, not a dried-up old hag like you."
What? A club hostess is a delicate wildflower? I wondered, but maybe I was rude to my brother's fiancée, whom I hadn't even seen yet. "I'm sorry. Don't be angry. It was my fault." My apology somehow calmed my brother down. But looking back, that apology might have been unnecessary. The woman was not a wildflower, but a poisonous flower. Since it was a shotgun marriage, they had to hurry with the wedding, so a family meeting was held right away. My husband couldn't attend due to scheduling, but I thought it would be fine to introduce him later. As long as I, the future sister-in-law, could attend, it didn't bother me much. But at the family meeting, I immediately regretted my husband's absence. It started with my gloves. "Is something wrong with your body?" I was eating with my gloves on, so Mom asked. I was cleaning the company's toilet, and I forgot that I got detergent on my hands, and they got really rough. The dermatologist said it was a chemical burn. Mom was very sympathetic. "Oh, poor thing. Industrial detergents are strong." "It can't be helped. It was my mistake for not wearing rubber gloves. I'm treating it now, but it looks bad, so I'm wearing gloves today. I'm sorry." Then Kate, who would become my future sister-in-law, suddenly looked down on me. "Ew, cleaning toilets. Why are you doing such a dirty job? I can't believe it." What?" I was stunned by her words. "I can't even clean the toilet at home because it's dirty, let alone clean the company's toilet used by so many people. Isn't that a janitor's job?" Well, but..." I was flustered, not knowing what to say in response. "But cleaning the toilets is important for the employees to work comfortably, right? And the meals, too." "Huh? You're doing the cooking, too? Are you a housekeeper?" "I can't believe it. Your brother works for a good company, and his sister is doing bottom-level work?" "Hey, what are you saying?" My mom tried to complain to her, but I stopped her. Of course, I wanted to talk back, but my brother had finally found a bride in his 40s. And if I caught a quarrel between the two families, who knows what would be said later. My brother seemed not to care about her rude words, just grinning and fawning over his 17 years younger girlfriend. I sighed. What's going to happen now that this person is going to be my sister-in-law? My anxiety during the initial meeting grew as preparations for my brother's wedding progressed. He was going to have the wedding at the most famous luxury hotel in town. Moreover, the food would be top-ranked, with many options, and they were going to change outfits 5 times. Because I'm a young bride, everyone will want to see me in my dresses, right? It's a shame I can't wear a tight dress because my belly is showing. There are various maternity dresses for shotgun marriages these days. She said that, apparently trying on dresses one after another. Indeed, her belly had started to grow when she came to our family's home. How many months into pregnancy does the belly become noticeable? I had been pregnant once, but I had forgotten since it was so long ago. While having tea with Mom at home and gossiping about the marrying couple, I asked, "Isn't a wedding in a luxury hotel going to be very expensive? Does my brother have that much savings? He's been living a luxurious single life and probably hasn't saved much." Then, Mom sighed. "Well, Kate is asking us to help with the wedding expenses. Her family doesn't have much money, so they can't help. So she's asking us." Wait a minute. I interrupted Mom's story in a panic. Then they don't have to have a wedding at a luxury hotel. They could have a modest wedding that fits their means. Why do they need to have a lavish and glamorous ceremony if they can't even pay for it themselves? According to Mom, she was acting like, "Aren't you happy to have such a young bride?" and seemed to think that it was natural for my brother and his family to respect and honor the young bride. Sadly, my brother seemed to be under her control, and he was also asking for financial assistance for the ceremony. I held my head in my hands. Had my brother's head been filled with flowers since he decided to marry a young girl? What kind of flowers were blooming wildly in my brother's mind? I felt a fear that if we continued with the wedding, not only my brother, but also my parents and I would be dragged into a pitfall in a field of flowers. And amid my anxiety, the wedding day finally arrived. My husband, son, who had come home for the wedding, and I were about to leave our house when the phone rang. "Hello?" The caller was Kate, one of the stars of the day. She had an astonishing request for me. "I have a favor to ask you for today's wedding." "Yes, what is it?" Was she asking me to help at the reception, or perhaps to give a speech at the ceremony? No, family members giving speeches would be unheard of. However, her request was even more outrageous and extremely rude. "Actually, I want you to be absent from today's wedding." What? I was shocked. Why should I be absent? "Because I can't introduce you, my future sister-in-law, who's a single mother working in manufacturing. It's embarrassing." Single mother? For some reason, she seemed to misunderstand that I was a single mother. Actually, I tried to correct her mistake, but she continued without listening to me. "After all, the president of Tom's company is coming to the wedding, right? It's proof that he's an elite employee. I can't have a filthy manufacturing worker sitting with us." I was more and more confused. I can't attend the wedding because my brother's company's president is coming? That's impossible. What is she misunderstanding? Anger began to bubble up inside me. "Besides, as a single mother, you won't be able to give much in congratulatory money, right? I'm just advising a pitiful loner to save money. So being absent will be more comfortable for both of us, right? Right, cleaning lady?" She mocked me over the phone. I see. She looked down on me completely and intended to exclude me from her wedding and her life. Well, that's fine. If that's what she wants, I'll comply, Understood. But if I'm absent, others might be absent too. Is that okay with you? She seemed to take my words as a threat. And she suddenly became furious. What are you talking about? If you're going to threaten me, come up with something better. Don't act so high and mighty, cleaning lady. I'm going to be the wife of an elite employee and live a prosperous life. I don't need a cleaning lady in my family. Understand? Whether I marry Tom or not, I won't let you act like my sister-in-law. Don't come near me, loser in life. She hurled every insult she could think of at me and then hung up the phone with a click. What? Why on earth did my brother decide to marry such a woman?
What happened?
My husband asked, seeing me sighing and clutching my smartphone. Well, I explained the content of the call to my husband. Then he said something surprising. An hour later, my husband and I arrived at the hotel where the wedding was being held. We were both in casual clothes. There was no point in dressing up if we weren't attending the wedding. Some relatives spotted us and approached with smiles. Oh, congratulations on this occasion. Are you getting ready now? But it seems the ceremony is about to start. Then, instead of me, my husband answered.
Actually, we can't attend the wedding.
What do you mean? The relatives were shocked to hear my husband's sudden announcement.
The bride has refused my wife's attendance. It would be strange for me to attend alone, so we've decided to be absent. But we don't want to be accused of skipping out to save on the congratulatory money, so we came just to leave that.
Hearing my husband's explanation, the relatives started talking frantically among themselves. What did you say? What is she thinking? They're not letting the two of them attend the wedding. Mary's husband is an important president who's boosting this region. The news spread quickly, and the waiting room and lobby before the reception turned into a big commotion. My husband, John, is the president of a company that promotes local traditional crafts and ships them nationwide. He employs several young artisans, constantly creates new works using traditional crafts, and is always busy traveling around the country for promotional activities. He's a bit of a local celebrity, having revived a declining local industry. Many people in the region are involved in traditional crafts, so among our relatives, there are many who work for my husband's company or have business dealings with him. My brother Tom is one of those who work for my husband's company. Apparently, the bride Kate didn't realize that the company president listed on the seating chart for the reception was my husband. The very company president whose attendance she used as a reason to reject me was, in fact, my husband. There's no reason for a company boss to sit at the family table in the first place, so it seems like she should have realized. But she's really shallow. Actually, I work in accounting at my husband's company and take care of the young artisans. Some of them live in dormitories to work with us, so daily meals are essentials for their health management. I also volunteered to do the cleaning within the company to support my husband. But if that's looked down upon as a cleaning job, neither my husband nor I, nor those around us will stay silent. The commotion grew larger, and those already seated in the reception hall began to stand up, saying, "Let's go home. Let's leave." In the midst of this chaos, the bride and groom appeared with smiles. But the atmosphere in the venue was far from celebratory, and the newlyweds were immediately attacked by relatives and company associates. What are you two thinking? Don't you realize how much you owe to the president and his wife? Our motivation comes from the ladies' meals. You owe your sister for getting you into the company, and you can't even control your bride. Facing criticism from everyone, the bride and groom began to panic. Then my husband spoke to the groom.
I don't want to interfere in your private life, but you should choose your bride carefully. I advise you not to marry her. Huh?
My brother, unaware of the situation, was wide-eyed.
The bride told your sister not to come to the wedding. She said it would be embarrassing to have a cleaning lady attend. Do you intend to marry such a discriminatory and unreasonable woman? As my brother stumbled over his words, the bride yelled from beside him. That's a lie. I didn't say that. Your sister is trying to frame me with a lie. Where's the proof that I said such a thing? Indeed, there was no proof. My husband saw me talking to her on the phone, but I wasn't on speakerphone, so no one else knew the content. But my husband remained calm. I can't prove the content of the phone call, but I can present other evidence. What? Other evidence? What could it be? I, along with those around me, listened intently. I was going to keep quiet about this, but I've been to the club where the bride used to work. What? I inadvertently glared at my husband. It was for business, he stammered, looking flustered at my gaze. Well, that's fine. This is a different matter, my husband continued. I heard there that she was rumored to be in a romantic relationship with a married man. Why did she suddenly switch to the groom standing next to her? I mean... The bride turned pale. Could it be that she had a child with that man and planned to foist the role of father onto a new man? My husband's shocking revelation caused a stir. Could it be? Was she trying to saddle my brother with a child from a married man? Then my mom, who had been watching quietly, began to speak. Actually, I didn't want to say it, but when she came to our house before, she said, the baby moved. But you usually feel the baby move around 5 to 6 months, right? She said she was only 4 months pregnant then, and her belly is too big now. Maybe there's about a 2-month difference. It was a highly persuasive observation. I won't say anything bad, at least for now. It's better not to register the marriage. You can still do a DNA test later. My husband advised the groom's brother. Then the bride yelled, Don't be ridiculous. If we do that, the truth will come out. She screamed, but then she realized her slip of the tongue and covered her mouth. As I thought, what a ridiculous woman. Enough of making fun of people. I'm going home. I can't possibly celebrate this marriage. I came all the way in my busy schedule. Were you planning to deceive everyone? Give back the congratulatory money. After that, it turned into an unbelievable mess. The guests were angry, and some demanding the return of their gifts rushed to the reception. Screams from the girls in charge could be heard. The relatives all ganged up on the bride and groom. The bride was wailing, and the groom was crying even more. After that disastrous wedding, my brother and she broke off their engagement without registering the marriage, and she returned to being a club hostess. Without even needing a DNA test, it turned out that the child in her belly was born from another man, not my brother. My husband's guess was right. She confessed that she had planned to make my brother a substitute father because the other man wouldn't divorce his wife. The other man was also a local, and thanks to the town gossip, his wife found out, leading to a divorce lawsuit involving the club hostess. My brother also claimed alimony and damages from her, but it's doubtful whether she can pay with her earnings as a club hostess. I'll make sure my brother reflects on his mistake of being swayed by a young club hostess. After the trouble settled down, I asked my husband, Hey, do young girls come on to you at the club too? I brought up the wedding story and teased him a bit. No way. My husband laughed, but he didn't seem entirely unconvinced. He's a company president with money, and although he's getting a bit older, he's quite handsome. There's no doubt he's attractive. If I ever cheated, I can't even imagine what the young guys at the company would say. It's terrifying just to think about it. But as a man, anything can happen anytime, anywhere. Our son is independent now, and at 44 and 50, we should enjoy the newlywed feeling again. I must occasionally dress up and make a sexy appeal to my husband.